Louise, can you tell me about the dadcheck service for legal tests?
Of course. So if you need a DNA test for legal purposes, such as a passport application, home office, or even surrogacy overseas, you must have a legal DNA test. So that is using a company such as ours that has 17025 accreditation and is on the Ministry of Justice's list as well. So this list is published annually. So you need to make sure you've got the most recent version of the list. And we've been on there now for about 15 years.
So if any of the family members live outside of the UK, will you still be able to help?
Yeah, if we have any family members overseas, that's certainly not a problem, especially when you're working with Home Office cases, passport applications, UK citizenships. We often find they have one family member here in the UK and maybe the mother and child are overseas. Not a problem at all. What we do need though is a clinic overseas to actually collect the samples. Now in some countries, such as South Africa, we have clinics that we do work with, but the family can choose a clinic of their own choice. We'll send the kits over there with full instructions for the sample collectors. All the family need to do is go in, have the samples collected, taking a valid form of ID is really important, 2 recent passport size photographs. Once that's all done, the clinic will contact us directly and one of our team will arrange the courier return of those samples straight back to us to the UK in our labs for processing.
What information do you need to start the order?
Well, in order to start a case for you, the key information is who's taking part in the test. So we need the names and dates of birth of the mum, usually the alleged father and the child. And also we need to know where we're going to send the sample collection kits to. So if we're going overseas, like we've mentioned in the past, it's then which clinic they're going to use. If it's here in the UK, it's a case of where would you like our sample collector to come and see you in order to obtain your sample. The other important information we need to know as well is if any test participant, so the child really is under the age of 16, we need to know who has parental responsibility because it needs to be that person who is present when the child has a sample collected and who needs to sign the child's consent form to allow that child to take part in the test. So that's really important.
What do the donors need to take with them at the sampling appointment?
So at the sample collection appointment, what the donors must have with them is a valid form of ID, so passport or driving licence. If it's a child in a surrogacy case, sometimes it's just the birth certificate we have, and obviously if it's in a different language, we do need the English translation as well.
So what happens after the samples are collected and returned to the lab?
So once the lab receives the samples, we like to process them as soon as we possibly can. Now you can imagine in some cases, if samples are being collected in the UK, they come back to us a little bit quicker than those if they're coming from overseas. It's not a problem. We like to process your samples nice and fresh. So very often, if it's a case such as that with a passport or an immigration case, we'll probably have the UK sample already processed and the DNA profile sat in the case, waiting for the other samples to come through. Once we've got a full case, it takes about 4 working days to process. And at that point, we produce the DNA test reports. Now, everybody over the age of 16 who's taken part in the test is entitled to receive their own written copy of the results. And obviously, if you've got a solicitor or an immigration advisor helping you out, we'll send them their own written copy as well, plus any supporting documentation that may help with their case. So that will be the signed consent forms, the forms of ID used, and the photographs of the donors. And if you've got any questions or concerns about the legal test, you just ring up one of our team, they'll talk you through the process.